Hey, how you doing? This is Zakk Wylde, and welcome to my instructional video. What we're going to be going over today is some pentatonic scales, a bunch of chicken picking licks, and some vibrato, and a whole bunch more. So stick around and check it out. Okay, before we get started here, the first thing we should do is tune up. And what we're going to do, I'm going to tune to A440. I'll just tune up with a standard E chord here. Or better yet, we'll just do an open tuning here. Use my high E string. Okay, here's the B. Here's a G. Here's a D. Here's the A. And here's the E string, low E. All right, this is part one of the tape here. What we're going to go through is some basics. I guess, well, basics, I think they're basics. Anyways, we'll keep it in the key of A right now. And so let me see, we're going to start with some vibrato and just do major pentatonic scale, major minor pentatonic scale. Then we'll take it from there, going into some, how to mix up the scales so they don't sound like scales. Here's an A. We'll start with vibrato, actually. What you want to do, what I've always done, you know, is put, it's weird, I mean, I usually use my thumb over the top of the neck here when I'm going to be bending strings. We'll start with maybe your index finger here. And what happens is, I'll shake the string. It's not so much like this. What you want to do is try and get a side thing here. So your hand's kind of moving sideways this way. It's pretty much, that's the way you want to do it. And if you can, practice it eventually so you can get maybe two strings in there. So it's... That's one string. And two strings would be your G and your B. Another technique you can use, try using other fingers. It can give you some strength when you're bending the strings. Either your second, you know, your first and second. You can try it on the same note here, on the C note. Fret finger. Get your pinky in there too. So that'd be one way about going about it. Another way, well, these are like kind of like rock cliche licks. I'll just show you that you can practice bending strings with. You can take your index finger here on the 5th fret. What you want to do is try and take your second finger, put it on the 7th fret on the B string. Take your 3rd finger and put it on the 8th. And what you want to do is try and bend these notes up. Just bend the B string up. What you can do is just try and put some vibrato in that eventually when you get used to bending strings. So. You can try that one, or else you can stick your pinky in there as well. Don't be afraid to use that thing. So. All right, now that we're on the vibrato section, what I'm going to show you now is a couple licks. I'll just incorporate a couple licks and using vibrato on the high string, and then I'll use a couple licks on the low strings. So here we go. We'll start off with something on the high strings. Like I was showing you before, you have your vibrato with you can do it with all your fingers. So we'll just check something out here on the B string, and then I'll bend something on the high E string. Okay? Just remember it's an A again. That's just an example on the, that's on the B string right there. I'm going to show you, I'll just do a lick going down now, and we're going to play something on the A and the low E. Here we go, same type of lick again, right? Okay, now next we're going to move on to picking harmonics. And when I first started playing, what my teacher had taught me was basically it's all down picking. And how I eventually, got to the point where I'm at now, I did a lot of chromatic scales, just going down with the pick. So it was like more. That's all it is. So I mean, if you just keep doing that up the neck, eventually when you got overdrive going on your amp, it's going to sound a little bit more like this. Pretty much like that. So I mean, all it is just, remember, it's always down. So you just want to... Just a good exercise would be something like... All right, how you doing? Now we're going to talk about bending right now, and pretty much what I'm going to show you is a couple rock licks that are used. They've been around forever. I mean, people like Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, and everybody's been using these things since the beginning of time. So, what it is when you're bending notes, the great thing about bending notes, you can kind of mix with your vibrato instead of just playing a normal note. Like I say, once again, we're in the key of A here with that pentatonic scale. Instead of just playing a normal D note, what you can do is take the C and bend it up to the D and give it some vibrato, and it'll give it a different tone altogether. Kind of instead of just going, pretty much going. Pretty cool effect. So what I'll do, I'll just show you a couple notes, a couple different techniques. Here's one. Basically, this incorporates bending two strings, or one string at once. Basically, and then we'll get onto eventually later on like pedal steel licks. So what you want to do, see if you can just try and get this one down, if you can. What you're going to do is put your index finger on the 5th fret on the B string, and take your 2nd and 3rd, put them on the G string, around the 7th fret here. Put your 2nd finger behind it so you can give your 3rd finger some strength here. And what you want to do is just bend it up so you're hitting that E, that note right there. On the next string here, we're going to go to the E and the B string. It's the same type of effect, but what you're going to do, you're going to move your fingers up just a little bit more. Instead of here like that we did on the B and the G, you're going to move on the index finger on the high E, put your 2nd and 3rd over here, or else if you want, you can use your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right here onto the 8th fret on the B. You want to bend that one up so that you're hitting the A note. Which is a really cool effect because you can just keep it going up and down, so it's like... Once again, what I did there on a low G, same thing. I bent the G up to the A. So instead of just ending on a... It's pretty much like this now. The example I'm going to show you now, this is has to do with bending, but this is double bends, kind of, pretty much what I was... It's an example of what I was showing you before. But this is has to deal with some kind of country-ish licks. What you want to do is try, once again, it's in the pentatonic scale that we've been working off since the beginning of the tape. What you want to do is try this one here. We have, just like we have that one, this one's going to deal with bending 2 notes this time. So what you want to try is this one. You're going to put your 3rd finger on the 7th fret on the B string, and try and put your pinky on the B string on the 7th fret as well. And what you're going to do is bend them both up. So if you can, try that one. So it'll give you a different effect altogether. So and you can also try it on the B and the high E on the 8th fret. Same thing. It's just good for kind of ending phrases and licks. Something like... So what I'm going to show you now is just an example of just trying to blend all of them together, just like bends, double bends, while the whole time you're using your A minor pentatonic scale. So, you know, mixed with chromatics, which we're going to get into later on. But I'll just play you an example. This is just with a clean sound, then I'll do some, you know, with the overdrive on. Here we go. All right, so now that's an example, clean. Now I'm going to give you an example with the overdrive up and see what it's going to sound like when you're doing this thing heavy. That was an example of using double bends and the just example of bending strings all together, mixed in with your scales. happening? This is Zakk Wylde, and what we're going to go over now is a bunch of pentatonic phrasing, scales, and a lot of picking patterns, and how to blend them all together. Okay, this part of the tape, we're going to go over some pentatonic scales here, and some alternate picking. What I'm going to use is the basis for the exercise is going to be a pentatonic scale. So we'll start here with the A minor pentatonic scale on the 3rd fret, all right? So what we're going to do is, where you're going to go, it's going to be a combination of down and up strokes, all right? So what we're going to go is... It's pretty much like that. Once you get some speed developed, it's going to be, you know... It'll come out sounding like that. So just keep going over it, just up and down, man, with all the scales. And what I'll show you now is going to be basically how you can connect all the scales together. But for now, just go over that one exercise with your major pentatonic. You can go over it here on the 5th fret. The next part we're going to go over here is some pentatonic scales on the higher strings. What we'll use right now is going to be the B and the E string. I'll show you a simple lick here. What you're going to do is basically like connect the dots type thing with all the scales in the A minor pentatonic, run off the A minor pentatonic. So what it's going to be, it's going to be, once again, it's going to be the same type of picking pattern, down and up. And then you're just going to connect it up. What'll happen once you get it going is going to be more like this. Here's another cool lick you could play using, once again, the E and the B string. Instead of the pattern we were using just before was, we want to try and do same scale going up the neck. And what it is 1, 2, 3, 4. What you're going to do is just connect it going up the neck. It'll sound something like this once you get it going. Okay, that was 2 examples. Here's another lick you can work on. It's just another standard rock lick. Once again, it's going to be utilizing the A minor pentatonic scale. What you're going to do is you're going to be up here, and we're around the 12th fret here. We're going to be using, put your index finger on the high E. You're going to put your 3rd finger over here on the, what are we at, the 12th, 13th, 16th fret. Okay, and then you're going to be going from the 16th alternating to the 12th to the 15th. Once you get it going, it's going to sound something like this. Here you go, one more time slow. And then you can just mix it, which is, it gets pretty cool once you get going with it. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go over that pattern, and I'm going to show you what the picking is on it. And once again, it's down, down, up. That's that's all it is. So here we go. That's pretty much slow, and then we'll speed it up. Also, you can just mix in the pull-off licks. And also the same thing with those. They're all pull-offs. It's just mixing up a different combination of licks all together. And this is what it sounds like fast. All right, now the example I'm going to show you now, this is a way of connecting the major A minor pentatonic scale, and then eventually what we're going to get into, I'll show you how to transpose it to each and every key. Like I was saying before, it's pretty much just connecting the dots, actually. So what you want to do is just be able to connect the scales. Just take little patterns of certain different things and move it up and down the neck. Just, find your own little patterns. I'll give you a couple examples here, but, pretty much just experiment with it on your own, and I'm sure you'll come up with a million different combinations. I'm just going to play a batch of scales going up the neck. This is pretty much how A minor pentatonic is. This is just stock. So it's... And then it just starts all over again. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to connect a couple of them together. We'll just take this shape actually right now, just the shape that it's in. And you'll notice you can just connect it all the way up the neck. I put a couple different licks in there, just different things, but what you want to do is, if you'll notice, there's a bunch of slides. I'm just adding a bunch of fourths in there and a bunch of different patterns and combinations to make it sound musical so it doesn't sound like just a stock scale, just like how you have... what you can do with the chromatics and slides and everything to make it kind of sound musical, which is based in like blues and stuff like that in country, is just... I pretty much didn't move out of the pattern. I stayed right in that little box there. But it just sounds more like music. So that's just a little example. What I'm going to show you now is just connecting the scales going up the neck and stuff like that and just coming back down. I'll just show you an example. Here we go. Like we had before, you can connect that all the way up, and then coming down, you have the same scales. It's going to be something like this. Okay, the next part we're going to go through here is what I want to explain to you is how when you're jamming with a band or you jam with anybody and they change key, or because you're not going to always want to play in the key of A. So I'll just take a little example just so you can kind of understand it. What you want to do is the scale that we already have, that A minor pentatonic, how we're on the 5th fret, and that's that one scale. Let's say if that's the main core scale that you want to base everything off of. Just try and memorize all the scales where they are in A minor. So we have that one scale. Let's say this is the main root one. That one there, it's real easy. Whatever your index finger is on, like let's say it's on A right now, Just think about it. If you move it up to B, everything shifts up. You're in the key of B. Just always try and keep that in mind. If somebody's playing in the key, if somebody's just playing a simple old blues progression in the key of C, what you want to do is just take that pentatonic scale you've been playing in A right now that we've been on the whole tape, and just move that one core one up to C. Because now you're in the key of C. And everything would, you're going to have to learn how to transpose all the different scales so that you can connect them as well as you can connect them in A minor. So that's just pretty much, for me, that's how I've always gone by it. So it's like, if I'm in G, I'll just take that major scale that's in A, move it down to G. Now I'm in G. When I'm in F sharp, I just move it down one. Now I'm in F sharp. But you just have to just remember where all the other scales are. In your head, you just got to shift where everything is. So it's just pretty easy. Always kind of remember that core scale and where your index finger is. And if somebody says we're in the key of A flat, just move it to A flat, whatever note you're on, and play that scale there. And you're pretty much being key. All right, now what we're going to go over here is just pretty much an example of everything we've been doing up to now, just bending a batch of scales and stuff like that, some pentatonics, just blending it all together, okay? So remember, there's other things. Everything basically I'm going to be playing here is all in that one scale, based off of that one A minor pentatonic scale. So here we go. go. Okay, what we're going to do on this section here, we're going to go over some pedal steel bending, some country-ish type bends, and then we're going to get into some chicken picking, and then we're going to incorporate all three of them together. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to go over some pedal steel-ish type bends. So right here, we're going to stay within the A minor pentatonic again. What we're going to do on this one, see, because if you've already been able to master the one bend, and if you've got those down by now, what I want you to try now, here's another one. What you're going to do is you put your pinky in. And what I want you to try and do, the whole trick to doing pedal steel bends is, the only thing that's hard about it is trying to keep your other fingers from moving when you're bending the one note. So here's just one little thing you can practice. What I want you to do is bend up on the third string, kind of like how we have that one. Put your index on the fifth. Put your pinky on the eighth, and what you're going to do is with your second and your third, you're going to bend up on the G string. So you get something like this. And then there's another one right there. What you want to do is from the A, hit the C, and bend that one up. It's pretty much similar to... So, you know, it's just a little exercise you can work on right there. So, what we're going to go on to now, I mean, you can move this thing all over the place. There's just an example of some pedal steel bending. Right in this one position right here. This is all in A minor once again. It goes from A major actually up to A minor. So what you should do is just experiment with yourself where you like having, I mean, because this thing, it's so movable all over the other neck with those scales that I showed you earlier in the tape. Examples right there. What I'm going to show you now is we're going to go over some chicken picking, and I'll show you some examples of that. Now, what you're going to use here is basically just hold the pick the way you've been holding it, but what we're going to use is your middle finger here. So once again, using the A minor pentatonic scale, what you want to do is see if you can just try this. Here's just a little exercise you can work on. What you want to do is it's just a pull off, and then hit down on the E string with your pick. You can get that one down. That's a good exercise. Also, another one is still in A minor is, here's another one, a good pedal note. What you want to do is, this one's incorporating the second and the third. What you want to do is, before we start getting into rolling, this is just plucking the strings pretty much. What you want to do is just another standard rock lick. And all you're doing is pedaling off the A note here. There's an example of some chicken picking right there. What we're going to try and get into now, also what I was showing you before. Here's a good scale exercise you can work on as well, using that one finger, your middle finger. And what you're doing is you're just using your A minor pentatonic scale. And that's all using your middle finger. So it's this is an example of using some plucking patterns with your middle finger. The next one we're going to get into now is some rolls, and this is basically what you're going to do is you're going to be doing basically arpeggios with your second and your third finger. And what we'll do, we'll just take it here with a simple old A chord. Let me just show you some triads here, and then you can just try picking them yourself. And you got be something like this. There you go, there's just a little example you can practice with. Okay, what I'm going to give you a little example now is how to get yourself into a G tuning, and then I'll just play a little example of some, just a couple licks and things like that you can play over the G chord. All right, to get into the G tuning, what you want to do is basically have a G chord there while what you want to hear is this without doing it. So what you want to do, always think when you're doing open tunings, just think about what strings you got. what we're going to do is right here, what I got is a G, I've got a B, and I've got a high G. So think about it. You want this G to sound like a G, the E. So there you go, there's your G. You wanted the B out of the A string right here. This is what you want. You want a B, so you got a high B there. There you go. And then what you want to do is have a high G, so just hit your G string again. Okay, so there you go, you got a G chord. And what we're going to do is, there's just a couple licks you can play. And remember, the notes are going to be a little bit different now because you have the G and the B, strings up here, so everything's a little different. I'll just give you a little example. You can still mess around with things. Remember, the D, the G, and the B are still the same, so you can get away with all those type of licks, which actually, when you go into some scales, it's going to sound kind of neat because there's no way, someone will be able to figure it out with their fingering because it'd be too insane. So here's just a little tune, a little example you can play over. Something like that. What I want to show you here on this tape, we've been messing around with the scales and how to place them together and to connect them and run through different combinations and patterns and stuff like that. What I just want to show you is just the finishing touches of pretty much with the scales so they don't sound like scales, so you can actually make them so they can start sounding like music. A lot of guitar players, a lot of rock guitar players incorporate this, and a lot of country guitar players, so and jazz guitar players, actually, for that matter. It's a great technique. It's using a lot of slides and stuff like that. Slides along with your bends and a lot of chromatic notes. Now, like we were playing before, you got your stock pentatonic scale. What you want to do is try and add some chromatics in there, and something like this. Let's just check out this band. We already have. Try and add this one. And what you're going to get out of this, also I'll show you how you can, we'll just put some slides in there and, some fourths and double patterns and stuff like that where you can actually make it sound more musical. It's a simple pattern like that. It's that same scale, but you're adding chromatics and slides. For instance, just try this one. And what it is, all it is, you're just doing slides. A lot of slides are in there. And a lot of slides, pull-offs, and then you're still picking a lot of notes, though. So instead of just doing a scale like that, you can get... It sounds a lot more interesting than just going up and down the neck doing scales. So just try different combinations. Like I said, these are just little examples I'm giving you, but try and mess around all over the neck. You can be doing this. I mean, you have another scale, just a little box square like that. All right, so I just want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you learned some licks. I hope you learned some new techniques. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. So just keep on jamming. Before we get going here, I just figured I'd jam you one tune, a little bit of vocals on it. This is a song off of Book of Shadows. This is a tune called Dead as Yesterday. It goes something like this. Child, love sometimes leaves you as dead as yesterday. Hoping to hold a handful of sunshine, like a child told it cannot play. Ever I feel, Lord, love would leave me feeling There is where you'll stay. Ain't it funny, child? Love sometimes leaves you as dead as yesterday. As dead as yesterday. As dead as yesterday.